Hi, this is Stu, and welcome to our little stretching for yoga series. And this is episode 2. And we've looked already at the external rotation of the hip and working a little bit on creating some opening there. So now let's look at medial rotation of the hip. So what postures use this medial rotation of the hip? Well, there isn't as many, and most of them involve somewhat the knee being flexed or bent, and are sitting in this sort of position, yeah? Now, there's many things at play here. This is called Triangle Mukha Kapada Paschimottanasana, quite a mouthful, but it may be that, you could have tightness in the quadriceps that is pulling you up off the floor. You could have tightness across the front of the shin, which is shoving your heel bone up in the floor and basically lifting you up this way. And with me, this is my sort of difficult postures. There's anything for myself that involves this sort of medial rotation of the hip, and you can see me putting this hand out to the side to make myself sit up a little bit straighter as it happens, yeah? So what can we do about? Well, first of all, of course, we could actually just sit in this position, as long as it's not creating any knee issues, yeah? And so what we want to be thinking about is how might we create pain there. We might be creating the pain by taking out too much flesh. So when I come to bring this leg back, if I really have got big calf muscles and I take the whole lot out and I put it to the side, and then I take my leg back, I might find that you can see now this is a big sort of bulge here on the side. It's creating a bit of torquing between my lower leg and my upper leg, so that might be causing pain. So when I want to take the flesh out, it's much, much better to draw it back if you can. It's all well and said, but it's not actually as easy to do as it is to draw it out to the side. So you want to try and take it out to the back and then push it down, yeah? And so as long as you're comfortable there, what you can then do is think about being a little bit active and actually engaging the thigh, okay, engaging the hamstrings to draw the lower leg towards the upper leg, and that's just closing that gap a little bit, and then you might be able to sit up a little bit straight. Again, you'll see that I'm against the wall, which is quite nice, because that just gives you some support, and I can then just chill and just relax here a little bit and not think too much about the balancing side of things. Plus, if it's very tight, I might find that my hips are dropping back. So again, I'm then engaging all sorts of stuff. Depending on the length of your foot, the length of your shins, you might find that in this particular position, you come too far away from the wall, or your toes are like being squashed into the wall because of the length of your foot. So if that's the case, what you might want is just to take a padded cushion and put it behind you to give you the right distance from the wall, so as you can sit up without actually scooting underneath, yeah? So if that's the case for you, just give yourself a little bit more space, yeah? And then you can just sort of sit here for a while. It might be then that also you could try a different variation of actually bringing this leg up and see whether that changes and giving you a little bit more support, yeah? Obviously, if it's causing knee issues, then don't do this particular one, because you maybe need more opening somewhere before you do it. And just never hang out with the idea of increasing the range of motion, but at the detriment of another part of the body, yeah? So a little bit like we had our double pigeon as our assessment for our external rotation of the hip, we have also a little assessment that we can do for our ability to externally rotate the hips. And what that involves is lying on your tummy. So I'm going to go out of view for a while, so you're just going to have to listen to me. And then what you do is you flex at the knee, take your feet towards the ceiling, and then just let your feet drop out towards the sides. Now, can you see that as I'm doing that, so it's the out bit, that my thigh is basically medially rotating if you were looking from the other side. So the further my feet drop out towards the sides, and don't take your knees apart, keeping your knees together, the further they would drop out is an indication as to my ability to medially rotate my hips, yeah? And you would find that some people's legs drop out way out like here, like a butterfly, yeah? So they're really opening very much. So they've got a lot of medial rotation available to them. Some people, like mine, drop out about there, and some people don't drop out at all. They still stay facing the ceiling. Yeah, so if you're in that range, sort of here to here, like I am, then it means that that medial rotation is challenging for you. So you need to work on it specifically. Now, as you can imagine, if you've got a dodgy knee, it's not very easy to actually work on it because most of the postures that we do that involve that medial rotation involve flexing the knee. Now, there is an exercise that you can do lying on your tummy, but you need a helper for it. So I'm not going to show you that one in this particular video, so I'm just going to show you a couple of other options that you can do. So it all involves trying basically to take the thigh towards the center line. So the two easiest options, and maybe actually I'll try it with me just coming this way towards the camera. Maybe you're going to see me a little bit easier. So the first one is to take the feet a little bit wider than hip width apart, depending on where your range of motion is at the moment. And then you're going to be lying back and you're just going to let your knees drop towards the center line. So here I'm going to lie back. So we want basically my feet, don't want a big gap here. I want basically my shins coming parallel up and down. Yeah? And then I'm just going to drop my knees towards the center line. Yeah? So you can see that I've had to immediately rotate my hips to come towards the center line. Yeah? Now, again, if this creates any discomfort on the outsides of the knee, then, again, this posture is not for you. Yeah? So but if it is, then you can hang out here for a little while and see what it feels like. Okay? From there, the next option, which actually adds a little bit of a body twist too, is to have that same sort of position, but this time take the other leg over the top and then take the leg down towards the ground. Now, you can see it's taken my pelvis with it. So it's not as isolating as the one before, but actually it also can feel quite nice. But again, if it feels uncomfortable, either on the inside of the knee or in the low back, then ease out of this one. But if it feels nice, then I haven't got the room here, but you can actually lay your arms out and actually make use of the fact that it's also affecting other parts of the body and have a really nice sort of snake-like movement to the whole body. But if you feel anything dodgy going around the pelvis, then it's maybe not so nice. And then you would obviously swap sides and do the other one going this way, yeah? So those are a couple of the easiest ones to do in this medial rotation of the hip. If we get time on another video and I've got a helper, I'll show you one more exercise that you can do. But in the meantime, just have a go with those and see if that helps you. But just remember, in a lot of these postures, there's more than one thing going on. So it might not necessarily be just the medial rotation. It might be the tightness on the top of the thigh or some restriction across the front of the ankle or in the shin. But by looking at some of these elements, you're going to get an idea of what it is that's restricting you in the different postures, and you can try and work towards opening in those specific areas. Good. Hope you liked that little one, a quickie for today, and we'll be back with more soon.